Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the small town of Zama City in northwestern Alberta, Canada. Zama City is billed as a hamlet and is said to be Alberta's northernmost city. The last census there said 52 residents called it home, and the population trends down negative 29%. The oil and gas industries are the main employers here, and with everything becoming more mechanized and automated, the human populations in the area are in a steep decline. The area around Zama City is woodland and wetlands primarily, and is home to the threatened wood bison herd, as well as deer, moose, and woodland caribou herds. The First Nations tribe called the Dene Tha has long-running ties back to the land and find themselves in power struggles with the government and corporations over resources there. It turns out politicians and corporate opportunists aren't the only predators here, as it is also home for coyotes, foxes, and black bears. It is in this beautiful setting that our episode takes place today. At a remote drilling site operated by Cantex Drilling and Exploration Corporation, it was a normal day of dangerous and difficult work for the 30 workers there. The site was located about 40 kilometers, or 25 freedom units if you're from the U.S., northwest of Zama City. 44-year-old Randle Morris was a geologist at the remote drilling site and originally hailed from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. At around 4:45 p.m., Lee decided to take a walk and headed down toward the creek a few hundred yards from the drilling site camp. By dinner time at 5:30 p.m., he had not returned, and no one had heard from him since he'd left a short while ago. The residents and employees of the camp had been warned not to leave the area alone. There are many dangerous animals nearby, and without help, you can end up in a situation that can be deadly, or you can just get lost in the thick woods surrounding the camp. 24-year-old Carol Marshall worked at the drilling site as a general laborer. She originally hailed from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and had relocated here for work. One of Carol's work associates, 21-year-old Martin Ellis, ran some heavy machinery at the drilling site. According to the sources I found, the two young people were at least friends and possibly romantic interests of each other. At around 7:30 p.m., Carol and Martin decided to go for a walk and smoke some after-dinner cigarettes together near the same creek that Morris had headed toward earlier that evening. As they neared the dense vegetation along the creek, a large black bear suddenly appeared only about 15 feet away. Carol and Martin immediately panicked and ran away as fast as they could, while Martin headed toward the first tree he could find to climb. As he pulled himself up into the canopy of the tree, Martin's attention was on climbing, and he lost sight of Carol and the bear. When he finally got to a precarious perch, he looked around and saw the bear mauling Carol. For several minutes he watched it bite and claw his friend, and could do nothing about it. When Carol stopped moving, the bear seemed to shift its interest. It glanced up the tree only a few yards away toward Martin. It slowly lumbered to the base of the tree Martin was sheltering in. It seemed to be mulling over the effort required to climb the tree and pull Martin from its limbs. About 80 yards back toward the camp, Martin saw a flash of motion in the bushes. He watched incredulously as the son of the camp foreman, Bud Whiting, came bounding into view. Martin yelled at the Whiting boy to leave and go get help. He warned him there was a black bear beneath the tree he was in, and that it had killed Carol. The Whiting boy dashed back into the brush to get help. A few short minutes later, Bud Whiting arrived at the location with his son and his rifle. Bud got to within shooting range and fired at the black bear. His shot wasn't immediately fatal, but it drove the bear off, allowing Martin to climb down. A few of the people from the camp came down to where Carol's body was lying. They began to look around and see how to best retrieve her body. They could see a large patch of disturbed soil about 3 or 4 yards from her body. As they investigated closer, they could see the body of Randle Morris, buried underneath dirt and sticks scraped from nearby. It was clear the black bear was claiming Mr. Morris's body as his food cache, and had cached him for later consumption. The news of the predatory black bear attack was immediately relayed to the Game Management Office, as well as the fatal attack details. They sent out a cohort of officers to locate the now injured black bear and dispatch it. They searched for the bear and found it toward midday the following afternoon. They promptly shot and killed it after confirming it was the same bear wounded at the site by Mr. Whiting's errant bullet. Martin wasn't injured, but was so stressed out by the events that he was taken to the nearby town of High Level to relax and recover from the shock of the events he'd just experienced. Lee and Carol's bodies were recovered, as well as their loved ones notified of their deaths. Their bodies were transported back to their families for memorial service. I could find no source indicating the health or condition of the bear. Nothing I read stated anything about cubs being present, nor a food cache, other than Mr. Morris's remains being found nearby. It wasn't reported to be in ill health, nor gaunt, or underweight. This attack was a clear and simple case of a purely predatory attack by an otherwise healthy black bear on human beings. Granted that this black bear had killed Lee Randle Morris and cached his body for consumption, it is easy to understand the predatory motives behind his death. But to continue to stalk and kill additional parties is an extremely rare occurrence by any predator. It may be assumed that Carol and Martin happened to walk right upon the bare food cache of Mr. Morris's body, so it acted in defense of its food cache, and that is within the range of expected behavior of nearly any kind of bear. But to kill Carol, then wait for Martin to come down from the tree, communicates a very deliberate and intentional focus on killing more people for consumption. Currently, black bears can be found in over 75% of Alberta, with a total black bear population of 36,000, which puts black bear density at over 80 bears per 1,000 square kilometers. Black bear territory and grizzly territory roughly divide the province in half, with grizzlies making the western half of the territory their home and black bear the eastern half. This puts Zama City well within the grizzly bear territory and well outside of the established black bear territory, designated by the Government of Alberta Wildlife Ministry. Fatal black bear attacks are rare, but black bear attacks with multiple fatalities are extremely rare and seem to happen most in Canada. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Do you think the original attack on Lee Morris was a predatory attack? Do you think the subsequent attack on Carol was predatory or defensive? Why do you think the bear waited for Martin to come down from the tree? Do you think that living in grizzly territory drove the black bear into human predation? Given the dense brush in the area, would a firearm or bear spray prevented either of these attacks? I will appreciate reading and answering your comments, so please post them below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.